Brett Dolan filling in for Darren Sutton in a blast from the past. Here is Amanda Free joining us as well, fresh off a very busy week out on the coast for PGF. Amanda, it's always good to see you. I know that you're almost in that phase where it's 24/7 softball right now, and I know you love it.
I do love it, and we're transitioning from week 1 into week 2 right now. It's just started, and this is my favorite time of year because you get all the best of the best out in one spot, and they get to, pool up, play some practice games, and then really get into that bracket play. Did the draw a couple nights ago, and you know how much of that comes down to luck and positioning, but just seeing the excitement that the coaches have for this event, and just being the end of the season, everyone is just really excited to be out here.
Last week was the older kids. This week is the younger kids, but I think you enjoy both, right? I mean, the bracket play and the tournament play and crowning champions is exciting, but when you get that 18U Futures game as well, you get a chance to see the best of the best go head-to-head and have that televised nationally, which is always great for these young athletes and, of course, the coaches and the parents and everybody else.
Yeah, so last week was it was the 16s and 18s, so this is high-level softball. The best of the best. A lot of these athletes we're going to be seeing at the Women's College World Series in years to come. And the fields were flocked with coaches, so college coaches, watching their athletes, looking for athletes. So it was just a really fun, energetic environment. And it culminated into that Futures All-American game and All-American game where we really had a chance to celebrate the best of the best. They went on a cruise earlier in the week, the All-Americans did, and the Futures had a big blown-out pizza party and event. So it's a celebration all week long of the best of the best. But this week is the 10s, 12s, and 14s. And I love this week. I think maybe a little more. Don't tell anybody. Just because, this age, especially with the recruiting change, they're young and they're loving the game. And this is really where they start to fall in love. And I had a chance to talk to Patty Gasso about a week ago about building championship culture. And she talked about winning that first national championship. And when you get there, even if you're just there at the national championships, when you get there, it's addictive. You just want to go back. You start to feel the fire and the love and the desire, and you see what it takes to get better and better and just wanting to get back. So even at that 10U level, the 12U level, I think these events really shape the future of their game. I know it did for me. My first 10 and under nationals really kind of set the bar high and made me want to pursue the sport. So that excites me about this week is the thought of more and more athletes really falling in love with the competition and falling in love with, the successes and the failures, but really building that desire to want to come back and to want to be better and to want to do things on their own and pursue another round at it. So I'm excited to watch these little ones fall in love.
Yeah, well said. 2 guests today, and I want a thought from you on both. But Kylie Brockman is a young lady out of Kansas City, Kansas. I mean, she's a power lifter. She's a javelin thrower. I think sometimes we forget how good of athletes these are. We talk about the softball players, but the dedication it takes to play multiple sports and be good at multiple sports, to me, is really impressive.
Yeah, and when you talk to both of these athletes, but Kylie, one of them, they talk about the balance and the time management and the drive to want to get better. And I love a multi-sport athlete because I think it instills that, but it also gives you an escape from the game. So when you watch Kylie, she loves the game. It is very evident that she is passionate about the game and her role, and she's a phenomenal hitter and fielder and catcher. And I love watching an athlete who just shows real passion for the game, and that's Kylie.
And I know you enjoyed our conversation with Kasey Wood because she's talking about how she pitches to the reactions of the hitter's swing. She goes to Arkansas Razorback games. She stands behind home plate to watch the movement of the pitchers and what they're doing. I know that there's a part of you that really enjoyed her mental aspect of the game and how much she prepared.
Yeah, she's very cerebral, and she talked about the pitcher-catcher relationship and the fact that she calls pitches, and she had to learn how to be a pitcher and not just throw the pitches that were being called. So you can tell she processes through the hitters and the game and her own movement, and she really knows who she is as a pitcher, which I think is next level. I mean, and that's the kind of athlete that you want before you go off to college. Is you don't want to have to teach an athlete necessarily who they are when they get to college. If you can get an athlete who already understands the way her pitches move and how to work with a battery and how to read hitters. I mean, they're one step up, and just the maturity level that Kasey presents when we talk to her. She gets it, she understands it, and she still has another full year to prepare. So I'm excited to watch this duo go to Arkansas together. It's really exciting, and to see their relationship already building is pretty cool too.
That makes two of us. Kasey Wood, she'll be up second. Next up is Kylie Brockman when we come back right here on Perfect Game Softball. And welcome back to Perfect Game Softball. Brett Dolan with Amanda Freed. We welcome in Kylie Brockman. She's a catcher utility player, but she's from Piper High School, Kansas City, Kansas. Select fast pitch. She is an Arkansas Razorback commit. Woo pig. And welcome in, Kylie. Give us an idea what these last few weeks, last couple of months have been like in this final go-round of summer softball before you head off to school.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. This summer has been extremely busy. We start at the beginning of June and we go until we got back 2 days ago. So it's extremely fun. It's a grind, but it's definitely worth it. So we start off at Tulsa. It got canceled this year because of rain. We head back home, play Top Gun at Kansas City. We go back to Oklahoma for Top Club. Colorado, Chicago, and then we're off for about a week and a half, and then we take our trip to California. This year it was a long trip because we made it all the way, which I'm very grateful for. Got to stay the full time, and yeah, it was a great summer. I'd say our team really flipped the switch in Chicago. We got second place. We were really playing as a team. Everyone started to hit. Defense was looking great, and then in California, the same thing. It was two amazing tournaments.
Your team made a long run. You made it all the way to the championship game, and then you played in the Futures All-American game. So it was a really busy, jam-packed week. What was your favorite part? It doesn't even have to be softball related, but when you're out here in California, the weather was gorgeous, right? What was your favorite part about this last week?
My favorite part, we had a team bonfire at Huntington Beach one night. We had just played we played a bracket game and midday, and then we went home. Everyone got ready. The seniors got ready because they were taking pictures. And then, so we went down to the beach, took some pictures at the beach, and then we had bonfire with s'mores, and some of our 15s were there, and then some of our 16s, and all of our 18s. So, and everyone's family. So it's just really fun to have everyone together and enjoy our time outside of softball and still have a lot of fun.
Summer baseball is so different than summer softball. And I'm sitting here in Fayetteville where Kylie will be soon at the University of Arkansas. And I'm seeing so many of the incoming baseball players already here and working out and eating and trying to get bigger and stronger. Well, you guys are traveling the country, playing against high-level competition. Kylie, how will that help you get here in the fall and kind of be ready to go and compete, facing so many good pitchers and playing so much softball this past summer?
Yeah, so like you said, we see great pitching all summer. So I think the more that you see that all summer, as soon as you get on campus, it won't be such of a shock. Everyone had just been playing, so the pitchers you're facing in college are kind of going to be what you saw all summer. Yeah, they might be a little better, especially if they're older, but I think it just helps prepare you more so that you expect what the pitching is.
So going into your final year, what is it that you still feel like you need to adjust in your game? I saw you play and you're fun. I love watching you play. You're exciting, you're passionate, you're all the things that make the greatest college players. But in your mind, what could you still maybe tweak a little bit before you go on to that next level?
Offensively wise, I think making quicker adjustments, I think, in game, that could always help me. And then defensively wise, I catch a lot in the summer, but I don't want to lose my ability to play anywhere else. So still focusing on middle infield and outfield and getting in those reps when I can, just so I don't lose that skill, even though I am catching most of the time.
Kylie, I waited long enough. I got to jump in on a couple of things. First of all, you do have another year, so I don't want to get you off to school too soon. But the javelin, a school record in the javelin, and you are a 2-time state powerlifting champion. Give me an idea what it's like to have a school record javelin throw, how that might even help you on the softball field, from the throwing mechanics to the strength. And obviously the powerlifting is a big part of just getting yourself ready for the next level.
Yeah, so powerlifting, when I was in middle school, our social studies teacher was the coach, and he knew that I played softball, and he knew that I had like done CrossFit for a little bit. So he was like, I really want you to join the school powerlifting team. Like, it'll be so much fun. So I did, and I really enjoyed it. I did it my freshman and sophomore year, and I won. And then this year, sadly, I had hip surgery in the winter, so I wasn't able to participate. Which led me to track. I chose track over high school softball this year just so that I could jump into softball with select in the spring so that I could get better faster. I just felt that was the best option. And so I was like, well, I still want to participate in something for the school. So I was like, I'll do track. And I started off like running the 4x4, and right after hip surgery and just jumping straight from like barely being able to walk to running. It's not the best, so it caused pain. So I was like, I don't want to quit completely. And so it was like a couple weeks into the season, I was like, I'll just throw javelin. Like, it's kind of the same as softball. So I just went into javelin practice, and I picked it up, and my coaches were like, you're going to have to go to JV meet and like earn your spot. And I threw it practice, and then like, oh, like you can go to varsity with us this week. So, and I just kept like practicing with our coaches, and it turned out to be a great season.
Do you feel like being able to, because I'm a huge fan of multi-sport athletes, like just spreading out your athletic ability and building stronger, agility, and just, I think it all contributes to being a good softball player. But do you also feel like it gives you that mental break and kind of escape from the game, so that when you go back, you do feel refreshed for that long summer that you talk about participating in?
Yeah, for sure. That's like track this spring. I played spring ball, but I would have to miss some for track. And it's like, I think it helped me create a better balance so that I could enjoy track on Friday nights, and then I could go play softball the rest of the weekend. But like throughout the week, I'm not practicing softball 5 days a week like I would in the spring and then playing all summer. I'm practicing track, and then I'm still like hitting and catching and fielding on my own, but it does give me like a little bit of a break just so that in the summer, like you're fully refreshed and you don't feel burnt out at all.
Does sound like time management becomes a pretty big factor in your life too, when you're juggling track meets and practices and powerlifting, probably some rehab as you were coming off surgery.
Yes.
and skipping the high school softball. So how do you get it all done?
Honestly, so this spring I would leave school about 10 minutes early, go to PT for my hip. I would show up to track about 20 minutes late, practice, come home, do my homework. Sometimes I would go down to our facility, top tier field house, and I would hit at like 8 o'clock at night, do some throwing drills by myself, and then come home and just repeat.
So I want to go to your game, because we saw you in the championship game and then had a chance to see you also in that futures game. And every time you came to the plate, I saw what I saw, like just an aggressive attack mode type of athlete. But I want to know what you're thinking through your approach at bat. When you step into the box, your positioning, what you're looking for from the pitcher, and just how you process through your at bats.
So I love to jump on pitches like first strike that I think I really like. So you could see me taking big hacks early in the count. But I'm just looking for something that I know that is in my powerhouse. And this weekend I swung at a few in the dirt, but then I'll tell myself like nothing below the knees, or if I know it's a good rise ball pitcher, I'm going to say like nothing coming in above my knees. So I just kind of narrow the zone down just to help my mind and my eyes like communicate together. And yeah, I have like an approach for my hitting mechanics, just to help me get all my feels right during my swing. So I just think about that, and yeah.
I love the hitting approach conversations. I think it just shows a little bit of insight into the player, into the athlete, because we might sit in the stands as a parent, as a fan, and say, I just grip it and rip it, just swing and hit it. But there's so much more involved in that. But when you started to talk about the aggressiveness, it reminded me a little bit of a player named Hannah Gamble, who I know you really enjoy watching.
Yes, I do enjoy. She's so fiery and so passionate, and it's like always fun to watch her. So I'm glad I'll be able to play with her.
What else?
You also got to play with and kind of get to interact with some of your future teammates. I saw a picture with Kiki Estrada, who, by the way, I think should just go play baseball with the boys because she could just dominate there rather than softball. But what is it like at some of these events? And I know Amanda's probably done the same thing, where you get a chance to kind of get to know maybe your future teammates or play with or against them before you actually get to be a teammate with them.
It's so fun. So I got to play with Kasey Wood. She's in my class, which is really fun. I think we're already super close. And then like Kiki, Reagan, Talia, all those girls on the All-American senior team, we all kind of know of each other, and we always say hi to each other. And like playing against Riley in the championship game, like that's cool. Like she comes up to bat and I'm catching, and it's just like a smile. She catches my balls in the outfield, I catch her behind the plate. So it's kind of cool just to see how the people that you're going to play with in college, like see how they're playing now, and just like watch them succeed and look forward to your time together in college. I think it's really cool.
When there's so many athletes your age that are still waiting for the opportunity to find the perfect fit in their school, and you're really fortunate that you found a school like Arkansas, what advice do you have for the athletes your age that are really digging in deep into the recruiting process right now? They were just being heavily seen at nationals, at PGF nationals, and now they're having the conversations. You found the perfect fit for you. What advice do you have for those athletes who are looking for that perfect fit for them?
I would say just like trust yourself, trust the process. Like everything happens for a reason, and you will find the perfect place for you. And like whatever your gut tells you, I'd say go with it.
I think that's great advice, and I want to follow up on that as well. We're talking with Kylie Brockman out of Kansas City, Kansas, just off a very busy summer and a future Arkansas Razorback. But I have a 16-year-old as well, and in addition, Kylie, I think to maybe looking for the best fit, what is your advice to some of the younger players that'll be at PGF this week that start to see coaches around the games? You know, there's some anxiety, there's some nervousness, they recognize there's eyes on them. What do you tell them as far as being able to kind of put that out of their mind and still play their best?
Yeah, whether there's coaches there or not, it's still softball. It's still the game that you've always played. They might be watching you, they might not. So I would say just play how you always do. Don't try to impress, because then it might mess you up. But like, just don't think about it too much. Honestly, like that's how I succeeded, was they would be back there, but I'm just like, oh, okay, like it's just parents back there. It's like my mom and dad watching me every game. So yeah, don't get too nervous. Just play the game that you've always played.
And since we're on the advice train, you talked about your dad being an inspiration and your parents being really involved. What advice or tips would you have for parents around the game, around this situation? Because parents get the same level of anxiety, right? Like they see coaches watching their daughter and they want their daughter to get in, and there's so much going on, and all in love, but it can still be overwhelming. So what did your parents do well for you that helped you to kind of keep a level perspective on your game and what was going on outside?
Yeah, like even if I do bad, my parents are always supportive. Like, I think it was funny because we were in Colorado and I wasn't hitting the best that week, but I had just hit a home run, and I look up to my dad and I just see him like watching the phone, analyzing my swing. But then like after I told him about it, he was like, no, like that was a beautiful swing. So I think criticism, but like in the nicest way. I think it can help you, but also like know the time and the place. Like right after a bad game, like maybe wait a little bit. Definitely not in game. Just let us focus because, we can do something bad at one at bat, but then the next it can be completely different and we can change the outcome. So I would say just like relax and let us play. And if it's a good game, like great, you can talk to them. If it's a bad game, maybe just wait a little bit until the athletes like a little bit more calm down. And yeah.
I feel like Kylie's talking to me. I feel like she's telling me exactly what I need to hear, whether I need to wait for the game to be over, whether I need to be looking at my phone, analyzing the swing and dragging it back. Let's finish, Kylie, on kind of a lighter note. What is it about the squishies with your team? What's going on with that? We scour the social media. I'm a parent too, right?
Oh,
so
gosh.
What is it with your team and the squishies?
Okay, yes. I actually have quite a few at home. I put them in my closet for this, but I have like two big ones, a little one, and then some. Here, I actually have one like right here. Here's one.
I love it.
But no, I don't. One of our teammates, Michaela, she left Colorado because she had to have jaw surgery, but she kind of started it. She loved them, like was obsessed with them. And so she got a couple girls on our team, like a squishy as a gift. And then like we all just started buying ourselves some and then our friends. And then so we would bring them everywhere. And then in Chicago, it was a team trip. So we took a bus and Eric took us to the mall. And we're like, Eric, you have to get a Squishmallow for Rayleigh, his younger daughter. And so we're like on the hunt for a Squishmallow. And we walk into the store and it's like a big dog. And its name is Rayleigh. And his daughter's name is Rayleigh. And then the Squishmallows have like birthdays, and the day was before her birthday. So we're like, this is a perfect match. Like, you have to get it. It's meant to be. So I don't know. It's kind of funny because we're all like about to go to college and we have like a lot of Squishmallows, but we all love them. They make the perfect pillow. So
It's true.
These are the hard-hitting questions we get to the bottom here on Perfect Game Softball. Kylie, you've been an outstanding guest today. I know it's been a very busy summer. Enjoy whatever sliver of free time you get before you're right back into it this fall, and best wishes for whatever the future may hold.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
That's Kylie Brockman. We'll come back with more Perfect Game Softball in a moment. Welcome back to Perfect Game Softball. We're going to welcome in Kasey Wood from Bentonville, Arkansas. She's an Arkansas commit. She is a 2023 part of the Kansas City Peppers. And we got her off the football field pushing sleds. I mean, she is grinding it out today, trying to get better and stronger. So, Kasey, welcome in. What has this summer been like for you?
Yes, sir. Thank you. The summer's been really fun, just pushing that one extra, year around until our last year before we go off and have our final seasons for high school travel ball and, just the final chapter of the whole, first part of our career. It's been really fun. I've had the opportunity to get to know a lot of younger players around me in high school and in my travel ball organization, and that's always just really fun getting to, see the sport grow and do your part in helping the younger generation and what that shows about you too and how you can help yourself grow. So that's been really fun to dive into this year.
And Kasey, just had an opportunity to watch you this last week at PGF Nationals and at the Futures All-American game. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What did you enjoy about that experience? Talking about the PGF in general, but then also you're being able to be a part of that Futures All-American game. How much fun was that to be surrounded by so many great athletes like yourself and kind of just talk about your experiences and your future and get to know one another a little better?
Yes, ma'am. Well, through my softball career, I've always looked up to, many softball players, but, playing in that game, even, those players that are the same age as me, I've known about them or I've played against them for a very long time, and just always knowing how good they are and, keeping in mind the work they put in and to be able to play with them and just beside them even, I was very grateful to do that because it says a lot about yourself whenever you're in it. You learn a lot about yourself at, watching these girls, and you have an idea about a lot of people and about the way they play and about the way you play. So when you can kind of stop looking at everything from an outsider point of view and just, live it and do what you know how to do. It was really fun to watch that all unfold and, feel comfortable with some of the best and greatest athletes in the country.
Kasey, you were playing 18U ball when you were 14 years old. I'm sure there were a few bumps in the road, a few learning curves, and I'm sure it benefited you tremendously. So take me back to that point. What was that like, and how has that helped kind of shape you into the player you are now?
Yes, sir. When I was 14, I was pretty nervous. I actually had two friends, two a little bit older than me, who had gone to the team before me. So I had a little bit of comfort knowing that I knew some people there. I really took a leap of faith with my travel ball coach, Jeff Wallace, who I trusted very much to, have this picture for my in mind, which he did. And, when I first got there, it was a lot of, I knew my success, in the 14s with girls my age. And so going up, you have to keep that confidence mentality. Sometimes, like no one's going to hit this, I got this, just to get yourself to throw the pitch, But watching so many home runs go over my head was definitely what I needed in those first couple of years. So, I learned how to pitch and not just, throw. I learned how to, navigate a count, learn from a batter after every swing. I've gotten really close with my catchers and my teammates over the years, and it's really taught me how to play the game instead of, playing the people that are playing you. Just use the game to your ability. And a lot of playing with those older girls, it's something I'll never take for granted, because you get the opportunity to learn and grow all at the same time, and you're only getting better. There's no, holding yourself back, because when you play with some of the people that are, just as good as you, or if you're never learning anything, then it's kind of hard to grow as a person and as a player. So it's definitely been a pleasure to get that opportunity.
When you look back on that experience, you can kind of see the silver lining and how you came through it. But I would imagine when you're in it, it can be pretty discouraging, right? The learning process of learning, as you said, how to pitch instead of throw. Was there ever a time where you felt like, maybe I'm in over my head, and maybe there are a lot of pitchers who I think make the move, and then it's a lot mentally because you are facing these 18-year-olds about to go off to college. How did you pull yourself through those tough times? Because you did have them, I'm assuming, at that level. But what was your process for kind of mentally pulling yourself through those times?
Yes, ma'am. So we have actually a 15-year-old now. She's the Bradley Brewster. She's a pitcher under me. She's going through the same thing, and I talk about this with her a lot. And it's a lot of knowing your role when you're playing your role. And when I first got to the Kasey Peppers when I was younger, my role was learn how to pitch. And my role has obviously expanded as I've gotten older. But it was really hard to keep in mind, what I'm doing it for. There's always it has to go this way, or I'm not, or nothing's happening. But as I got older and as I went through more and more of the hard times, you come to a point where, you're looking at yourself and you're thinking like, okay, why is this happening? And you come to a conclusion, and eventually I found myself ways to, how can I work around this? How can I get better from this? And until you find that light within yourself, then it's going to be tough for a while. But, I always talk about the rebound of, slumps. This can go for hitting too. But, the faster you spring back, the faster you learn from it, and, take something away from it is the faster you're getting better. So, as I got older, that's just what I try to do faster. Just take what I've learned and apply it to my game as soon as I can.
Talking with Kasey Wood from Bentonville High School, Bentonville, Arkansas, and pretty good product placement. I think that is the state championship banner behind her right now, coming off a state championship, which was the 5th, I think, in 6 years in
Yes,
school
sir.
history. I know, Kasey, that's a tremendous accomplishment. I know it's almost the expectation. But I want to talk pitching with you because, Amanda, she's the All-American and she's the Olympic pitcher, but I'm watching some of your videos. and your ball is moving all over the place. And as a hitter, I'm trying to think, if I can anticipate break in certain areas, maybe I can kind of hang in there. You got the curve breaking, balls are dropping, the off-speed pitch. I don't know where to look when I'm facing you. So give me an idea how much movement that you're able to induce when you're either pitching for a state championship or you're out there on the travel circuit.
Yes, sir. I've had the pleasure of working with a small handful of catchers for pretty much my whole life. I played in the travel ball team with them and high school team with them, and throughout those years, the relationship a pitcher and a catcher have when they spend a lot of time together is very special. And normally only those two people truly understand what it's like. And I've learned a lot from those relationships about, teaching myself about my pitching as well. When I talk about learning from the batter after every swing, my catcher calls my pitches, so a lot of, seeing their swing and getting the call sign is, okay, I know this umpire's zone is, knees. I know this hitter can reach anything, so it's working around that. How can I get that ball to that place low enough and far away enough to miss their bat? And it's just that mental part of it. And working with my catcher to get that placement and getting ahead early. So a really big thing for me is, getting where we feel comfortable on the count and being able to work comfortably around a base hit or getting on. And me and my catcher have Sarah Watson, who I work with a lot. We have gotten really good at working together, to pitch around their swing and around the batter and try and find their weaknesses, which is where our spin pitches come in. And it's just that every pitch placement, every pitch matters about where the ball goes.
I love that, because I don't think we talk enough about the importance of the pitcher-catcher relationship. I mean, we talk about it, but we forget it's really valuable. And, so many times now with the movement of teams and from high school to travel, you have a different catcher every weekend at times. So I love that you recognize that the value in that relationship and how it's making you a better pitcher. I love that. We just had a chance to talk to Kylie Brockman, who's going to be your teammate.
Oh.
I know, she was awesome. In a couple of years, and she was talking about you and how much fun it was to be able to play with you on the field and get to know you better. And
yes.
What do you enjoy most about being able to play with and alongside your future teammates? And then on the other side, I want to know what you saw in Arkansas, why you chose Arkansas. I see why they chose you. I see why they chose Kylie, but I want to know why you chose Arkansas and what you saw in that program.
Yes, ma'am. It was a pleasure, a very big pleasure to get to pitch with Kylie. I'd never practiced with her before, even hit with her, anything. I love watching her play. She's just a ball of energy and so happy all the time. And getting to pitch to her finally was very fun. I felt very comfortable with her, and I can see why Arkansas chose her too. I think it's going to be a really fun couple years with her, and we're going to get very close. Arkansas, I live in Arkansas, and I've had the opportunity to go to a lot of games growing up, and the program they've built over the past couple years has really built something for the state too. And Arkansas doesn't have a lot of national teams, MLB teams, basketball teams, any professional teams like that mostly. So the program they built, it's not just for the the girls that go. If you're going to play there, it's not just for the people at the school. It's for the girls all around the state who want to be part of something and who believe they can be part of something too. And it's made a lot of young people be proud to be from Arkansas and play softball, and it's definitely made me be proud to live here too. And so to be able to go there and expand what they've created and bring attention and love to the sport where it's really made a home in this state is very exciting to me.
Yeah, you talked about the culture, how important that is, and Courtney Deifel and her staff have done an amazing job building that culture. And I'm also curious, Kasey, when you have a chance to go to games because you're so close, how much do you sit there in previous years watch Autumn Storms or Mary Half or Shanice Dels, who have had tremendous success and the great conference of the SEC, and either kind of think along with them on what they're doing or just kind of watch and enjoy how they're succeeding at the college level?
It's definitely a pleasure to have that kind of access. My favorite thing to do is stand at the very top behind home plate and watch their ball movement. It's just really cool to see. It's funny to put myself in the box and think and see if I think I could hit some of it. I got to go to a camp with the team and Shanice and the pitchers, and to see Shanice where she was in the team on my visit and when I committed to that spring season, just how much she grew, and along with KB Sides and her swing and how the confidence there, it's definitely very reassuring and makes me feel very comfortable and excited for the way the coaches see what's in the players and do everything they can to expand all their abilities. So that's definitely really cool to see unfold on the field, knowing a lot of them as people as well. And just to see those pitchers work, it's definitely very fascinating to me to compare a lot of what I see in travel ball and high school ball, even, other teams, when I talk about their composure and how they handle themselves on the mound, just after anything. It's definitely very rewarding to get to see that.
When I know that you're a versatile athlete, are you hoping to continue on with that at Arkansas, to be able to hit, to be able to pitch, to be able to play the field? Is that a goal of yours?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I think it'll always be a goal of mine, or not so much a goal, but just something, a part of me that loves every part of the game. When I talk about loving softball, I love running the bases. I love diving. I like playing first base. I like outfield. I love hitting. I love pitching and infield. I just love the game as a whole. I love practicing for it. So, again, when I talk about roles, wherever I'm put, I just like to, enjoy that and play it to my best, because really, it's very fun for me to get to play different roles and experience them. So I do hope that never changes. I don't think I'll ever stop loving to do, any part of the game, whether that's running the bases or playing third, where I get to, be part of the infield and have a voice out there and also talk to my pitcher. So it's like I get to see it from a fielder's point of view, but I also get to, look in on the pitching and have keep my pitcher up. It's very fun all around for me, and I used to struggle with staying in my role and letting them bleed over and affect each other when one wasn't going well, but now it's definitely one of my escapes. If I'm struggling a little bit, I know that I have somewhere else that I can get my groove back on.
It's funny, I was watching Amanda smile at that. You're talking to one of the great two-way college players and Olympian players who could play center field, could pitch in the circle. Amanda, you know exactly what she's talking about.
Well, I do, and that's
right?
why. But I'm seeing a shift, because we shifted heavily to pitcher only, I feel like, in our game. But now you're seeing a shift back, because I think coaches are really starting to value the athlete overall. And to me, I just think you should continue on. You should have that goal to want to play every part, whether it works out. I mean, you'll be a tremendous role player, but I love it. I'm the same way, because I wanted to be involved in everything all the time. So put me anywhere and I'll figure it out. But yeah, so go for it.
Like-minded people, I like it. Kasey, thanks so much for your time. I know you got to get back out there and start pushing sleds or throwing tires around or continue to work out, but thanks for joining us today.
Thank you all so much. Yes, sir.
That's Kasey Wood. We were also joined by Kylie Brockman, some exciting young ladies to talk softball with. Been a great show for Amanda Fried. I'm Brett Dolan. Thanks so much for watching right here on Perfect Game Softball.